Hi there. When a doctor or a nurse delays the delivery of a child, in which case meconium has already passed in the amniotic fluid, that can be extremely dangerous for that baby when he or she ultimately does get delivered. Meconium Aspiration Syndrome is a condition in which the baby passes meconium, which is the first bowel movement of a baby, but still inside the womb. Typically, meconium is passed outside of the womb after a baby is delivered, and usually a lot of times when the baby is at home. However, if a baby is full term or even past full term, and the digestive system has been completely created and developed, then what ends up happening is if a baby stresses out in the womb, if for whatever reason oxygen gets deprived and the baby can't breathe well, it will release that first bowel movement into the amniotic fluid. That amniotic fluid then becomes stained with meconium. That becomes a problem. And the reason being is because the baby will start to swallow or even breathe in that meconium, that feces. And that feces then travels inside the baby. The problem really is when the feces gets into the lungs, because that can cause almost a choking hazard for the child, especially when there is an extreme amount of meconium inside the amniotic fluid. When a doctor sees these signs of amniotic fluid staining due to meconium or even oxygen deprivation, it is imperative that the doctor proceeds with a C-section or immediate delivery, any which way, to get the baby out of that very dangerous situation. If the doctor delays the delivery of the baby, then the more meconium that goes into the body and into the lungs, the more danger that arises. After the baby is born, if there is meconium in the lungs and the baby cannot breathe, then the baby's brain cannot get supplied with enough oxygen. That can cause brain damage. If you have questions about MAS, Meconium Aspiration Syndrome, and if you believe that your delivery was delayed in any which way, you need to speak to a birth injury lawyer. My name is Adam Funk, and I am a birth injury attorney, and I would be happy to chat with you about your case.